And there we are. Hi, I'm
Hello.
Sally, and this is Valerie. And Valerie has agreed to do a session today, and she has a need. How the session start with me is that she'll have a question, a need, or an ask, and then I reflect it to the guides, and then they reflect it back. So please, it's your turn to talk, Valerie.
I was just wondering, I am going to be applying for a job, and I have an interview coming up. I just wondered if there was anything, that you could tell me about that.
I hate to tell you, but that's not a guide's question. That's a
Oh,
psychic question. That is and you're talking about, I'm going to give you the advice that I give everybody when I'm working with them. Set your
sure.
vibration to highest and best. And that way it doesn't matter what happens. And so if the job is for you, then it's for you. And if it isn't for you, then be thankful, because then a new door will open soon.
Sure.
But we'll set your vibration. So they'd rather do a healing of something physical. And they're suggesting something around self-esteem. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So do you have a question?
About self-esteem.
Well, it doesn't have to be self-esteem. It could be in relation to self-esteem, in relation to, like, we could increase your braveness when you're in the interview, or we can talk, get you connected more fully with, alignment with yourself. Any of these things. So self-esteem is, like, it's like the ocean. It's a continuum.
Yeah, that being centered sounds good.
All right. No,
Yeah.
you're not centered at all. And you're please forgive me, but they're saying that you're doing a lot of
Oops.
who am I and how, and well, it's coming out as, wow, this, all right, I'm going to try to do this as privately as possible to protect your privacy as much as possible. That's why, I mean, like, the words that are wanting to come out are like, no, 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 this is not a private session. This is a public session. So this one is reducing her power in every step, in every way, is what they're saying. So what they mean by that is the words you say to yourself, the thoughts you think about your future, and the moments that you have with yourself are not necessarily kind or generous to yourself. Would you say this is a fact?
Yeah, I have been going through something recently. Yeah.
And their question for you is, how does that help you in your plight?
Um, well, obviously it doesn't. Um,
No, not one bit.
but,
No,
so
obviously it doesn't.
out of something, but I've definitely been and it's lasted longer this time. I go through these phases. But yeah, it's lasted longer this time.
What they're showing me is a picture of a dragon that you beat back into its cave, and then it comes back out, and then you beat it back in its cave, and then in moments of stress, the dragon will escape again.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of showing me that. So why don't we just kill the dragon? Can we do that?
Oh yes, please.
All right. So this dragon is related to the question of, who am I in the world to other people?
Hmm. Okay.
And therefore, who am I in the world to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Because I judge myself in relation to the thoughts of other people.
Hmm.
Does this ring at all?
I didn't think I did, but I might. I'm a
Well,
bit
you certainly did when you were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This
14,
is a period of
15.
life when it locked in. Does that sound correct?
Yes,
And that's where the dragon was born. The dragon was born at that age.
I get that. Yeah.
The dragon was born in elementary school.
Okay. Yep.
It sure was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I
you've
remember.
done an excellent job of overriding the dragon, but the dragon's still under there. It's like, when somebody graffitis a wall and you don't paint it with kills, the words will bleed through.
Yes.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and this is it's actually directly related to elementary school. Elementary school was very, very hard on you. Those children were not very nice to you because you were a little more timid, a little more thoughtful. But you also could be bold and you're smart and you knew the answers. So both ways were wrong. Do you
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
So you were damned if you did, and you were damned if you weren't. Does that make sense?
Kind of similar now, really. Yeah.
Well, it's because that's who you are. You were showing up to elementary school. I mean, all 6 and 7-year-old kids show up as their true, authentic self. They don't really, they're in a group of new people and they're there to create themselves new, which is why a lot of freshman kids in college show up as their authentic selves and they recreate themselves from the burden and mantle of high school, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about are the emotions of self ridicule. And they're subtle. And unfortunately, it was led by the teacher in some cases. There was some ridicule led by the teacher. Therefore, that gave permission for the jackals to attack.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a fact. This is actually a true memory of yours, is it not?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's who that dragon was created in those moments. So what do we do with the dragon? They said, don't kill that dragon. You love that dragon and you tell that dragon it is a wonderful, beautiful baby and you need to coax it out of its cave. Okay, because that dragon is the piece of you that is your most true.
Wow.
Wow is right. I didn't realize that. I was going to kill it. I'm not going to kill it. No. Okay, this is what the guides are saying. This dragon is your very, very, very vulnerable, hurt, angry self. And all it does is become a puppet and a mimic and reflect back the words that were said to you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very sad feeling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do for her, I'm asking them, what is the highest and best way to go forward in this? Is to understand what compassion is. So we're going to pretend that we can play moments on a TV screen and you're watching as you would a TV show. And you're seeing the children and you're seeing the interaction with the teacher and this one beautiful redheaded child. This innocent. She's so vulnerable you can almost see through her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to see that, and let's see the whole picture. Maybe the teacher wanted to diminish you because you were inconvenient, because you asked pointed questions at inconvenient moments.
That could be it. I just remember asking things and she was very, very sharp. And I think I was a bit of a daydreamer, so she didn't like me because of that.
Sweetheart, you were a daydreamer because she was boring your pants off. You were too smart for the class, so therefore she had to diminish you and slow you down to the level of the rest of the class.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody needs to take away her teaching license.
Well, I don't think she's alive anymore. So
we're going to pray for every child that was just like you that was diminished. So when we do this healing, I'm going to include every other child that may be associated with the energy of this teacher. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So they said, not yet. We're going to do something else. So we're going to have you watch this scene and let's have compassion for this very, very tired teacher who didn't have a very good relationship at home and was, the woman of all work and was being pressured on both sides. She was ill-equipped emotionally to be a teacher. So we're going to have compassion for her. And when she was teaching you, it was one of the hardest years of her life. And it wasn't because of you, as you just happened to run across her as she was having a hard time in life.
Right.
Her relationship was hard. Her mother was giving her a hard time. And there was a lot of pressure. And also there was some changes in the administration as well at that time. So it made her life a little uncertain.
I agree.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
So a very bright, happy, open, maybe impulse control challenged child
Mhm.
in her class was considered a threat and needed to be stamped on quickly. This was considered good teaching in her day.
Right, right. It's like the peer pressure thing.
No, it's the yeah, you embarrass the child. That's number one. You embarrass the child in front of her peers. But the next thing you
Mhm.
do is you, which is unbelievable. I have seen teachers do this. It was taught in the 40s and 50s, and I thought by the time the 60s, 70s, and 80s showed up, they had given that up. But no, some teachers still kept that because they did their teaching practice with teachers. You know, you learn how to teach from other teachers. They don't teach
Yeah.
how to teach in school. That's why they make you do practicums in teaching.
Mhm.
So we're going to have compassion for her. So we want you to see that, as you're looking at the screen, that we're going to have compassion for her. And then we're going to have the compassion for the innocent pack, because we all know humans want to be directed by a leader on what to do. Correct?
Mhm. Yeah,
They
especially.
do, especially at that age. And unfortunately, you were the victim of the expression of energy. So now let's imagine that that energy is all curled up and balled up and still kind of crying in the corner. And interestingly enough, you went home and told your mother, and your mother basically said you have to do what the teacher says.
Right.
So there was no support on that side.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I got interrupted, so I'm just walking, but we can continue.
Okay, good. Just go to a comfortable place.
Ooh. I'm at work.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the bathroom's always the best place to hide.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna
this is
go.
good. This is that place was nice. That was pretty.
Yeah. I'm in the hallway at well, the outer hallway at work. So I'm gonna try and take over one of the bathrooms.
Okay, it's unfortunate you don't have earbuds on, because then nobody could hear you.
I know. I would have put them on, but I'm at work, so I don't have them.
Okay.
But it's okay. I can take over the bathroom temporarily.
Yeah, this will only take a few minutes, by the way. This is not going to be an hour-long session. It just takes a moment.
Okay.
Good. Now you're going to echo a bit, and I'd feel better if you were sitting down, but that's okay. We'll try to make this gentle. As long as you can, like, hold on to the counter if you feel wobbly. I don't want you to faint.
I'm okay.
Okay, good. They all say that. All right,
I'm holding on.
good. Okay, so now let's move back to the scene of where the teacher was and how the children were led. And the children were led to disperse their pointy energy towards you. And the teacher was just batting away a fly. That's what you were to her, an
Right.
inconvenient child who who didn't know how to control through leadership and engagement. So she used diminishment and embarrassment and shame to control.
Yeah.
You understand? So now let's go to that dragon. And that dragon is the little girl who didn't get support anywhere she looked. So therefore, she learned in that moment that I am wrong, bad. In some way, I am bad and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yep.
And that dragon has been roaring out at every inconvenient moment in your life. And that's kind of exactly what's going on right now. Your job is inconvenient for you right now, and it's a bad fit. And is the new job a good fit? Not the best, by the way. It's because you're vibrating where you were vibrating. There is a better fit job. So if you don't get this job, then understand it is by the grace of God. Okay? Because you're not vibrating correctly. So we're going to change that so you can vibrate in your full power. So let's go to the dragon and give it a treat. What treat do you suppose that dragon wants to have?
I don't know. Raw meat comes to mind. I don't know.
Actually, that dragon is you as an angry child. So what treat would you like to have? Would you like to have some candy or some ice cream, or be invited to the birthday party, or be included in the group? What
Yeah,
would we like to do?
included in the group.
Well, let's invite the dragon to come be included in the group with you. And say, dragon, you don't have to hide back there.
Mm.
Oh, that dragon's heart is breaking, isn't it? It doesn't trust you at first. Are you sure? You're sure you're not just lying to me? Because people do that. They include me in the group and then they shame me again. Is that what they're going to do this time? So let's reassure that dragon right now with your heart saying, no, dragon. I really, really want you to come out of that hole. That's right. You really, really do. Let's drop down into the place in your body. You feel it. It's between the esophagus and the pit of your stomach, isn't it? That's where that dragon is living. And you're feeling the pressure of the dragon right now, aren't you? Because it's pushing back. It's like, how dare you come at me where I live?
Yeah.
And so just like in Alice in Wonderland, please, dear, please, dragon dear, please come out. So we're going to give it little tiny pieces of jewel-toned candy. The dragon is particularly interested in the pretty colors of the candy, not necessarily the sweetness of the candy, because the candy is beautiful and it represents being considered, being noticed, right? So go ahead and give that dragon little pieces of jewel-toned candy.
Okay.
And the dragon is kind of slowly peeking out. It's okay. Now I want you to soften even more towards the dragon. Don't be afraid of it. Because the more love you give that dragon, the more the dragon is likely to melt. In fact, as the dragon climbs out, the dragon seems to be getting smaller. Do you see that? Feel the dragon climbing out of the cage, out of the hole. And as it climbs out, instead of a dragon claw reaching, there's a little girl's hand reaching for the candy. Do you see that? And now I'd like you to let that dragon come out fully and say, dragon, please join me. Please join me in my life. I'm not afraid of you. Please join me. Please join me. And I want you to reach your arms out for that dragon. And as the dragon comes out of the cave, I want you to see how that dragon turns into you at age 7. And she just wants a hug. Open your arms. Call her into your heart. Welcome her and say, sweetheart, you just didn't know. It isn't about you. It was only about them and how incredibly smart you are. You didn't know what you were doing was inconvenient to them. And now you do. So let's take these moments of learning that I know now, and I will give every bit of that to you so you can bring your incredible power and your intelligence and your quickness and your wit and your extreme exuberant joy. I want to see that again. I really miss you. Please come join me. Please come join me. Okay, so now there's the energy going in, and now how many emotions? 5. Release, 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 release. And there we go. We don't need to name how many walls. 3. Release, release, release. There's 1. There's 2. And then the last one. And we're going to let that dragon. And interestingly enough, that little girl is melting into your body and becoming part of you. She's no longer a little girl. She is finally letting go of that shame. We're just releasing the shame, releasing the embarrassment. We're releasing the frustration and the love unreceived and the separation. We're just going to release all of that. Anything else? How many layers? 3. How many levels? 2. How many universes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's kind of twinkling through there, isn't it? And release. Now notice that your heart kind of is like bubbling and then heavy and then bubbling and then heavy. So when it bubbles, I want you to think, I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, so release, release, release. Because it's almost, the pressure is almost unbearable at this point on your bone there. So just let it go. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anybody. You don't have to hide that. You're not protecting anybody. It's safe to let that out into the world. It will hurt no one. It is safe to let that dragon is simply a small child in a cage. Let's let her out. Let's let that baby out. There we go. And imagine that you can come to her and prepare for her a beautiful gown of shimmering colors, beautiful shimmering colors, and give her this dress. Wipe her face clean. Get her clean. Give her this beautiful party dress. Take her by the hand and let her come with you and say, we love you. We've missed you for so long. Please join us. Please join us on our journey. Frequency 9, frequency 11, frequency 1, activate. Now connect to source, yes. Connect to earth, no. Okay. You to earth, revert. There's something about earth, you don't like it. Revert, neutralize. It's not going to hold you down, don't worry. Earth, revert, neutralize. Earth. Yeah, it's okay. And later on when you go home, I want you to take a shower and let all of this out, or a bath if you have one, especially an Epsom salt bath. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Good. Take an Epsom salt bath, and I want you to celebrate just releasing, or just letting. Imagine that the salt bath is going to pull out all those toxic, energetic emotions, okay? Because all we did was loosen them up. We can't really pull them out completely because this is really so big that you might become kind of a teeny bit of a basket case at work, and I don't think they'd appreciate that.
No.
No. So I'm going to set a time bomb on it. Hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hours, okay? Is that a good time bomb?
I'm not sure what you mean by time bomb.
It means that all of this work is going to be reactivated in 8 hours when you're sitting in a bath.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
That's probably about a perfect timing, right? Because that would be 7:30 tonight.
Yep.
And that's a great time for you to get in the bath, right?
I will. Yeah.
Good. So you get in the bath, and you don't have to think about anything. You just maybe put on some nice music, keep the candle or two, and just lay back and let it rock and roll. Don't have to do a thing, and it will activate in the water. And they say if you have it, put lavender in the water. Essential oil lavender.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else? No. All right. So I'm pulling it through. I'm pulling it all the way through your body and then anchoring. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's an anchor. That feels a little safer now. As above, so below. Nope, not yet. Okay. Around and around and around and around. Around and around a little bit more. Okay. Pull you in from the edge of your field and anchor you there. Oh, that feels safer too, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, it's like, it's really noticeable, the difference. That's crazy.
Yeah, that feels much, much safer. So now around and around and around and around and around and around and around, and then anchor one more time. Ah, every anchor is helping just a little bit more to bring down the. There's a feeling. Okay, so now white ring, drop, 3, 4, 5, and then anchor, and then activate. Okay, that is slightly whirly, right? But it's not unbearable. And your heart doesn't feel so heavy as it did, does it?
No.
No, it's quite, I mean, we stitched you back up. That's one of the things that psychiatrists never do. They leave you walking around with a all your guts hanging out.
Right.
So what we did today is we activated the healing, and then we pressed pause. Because you felt the healing activating, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
And then we pressed pause, and that's allowed. We can do that because we can manipulate time and space. And we set it to go off again and finish and do fruition for when you get in the bath and relax. And you can have an adult beverage if that makes you happy. You don't have to have it. I'm feeling that you're a little dehydrated, so it would be cool if you drank a little water first.
Yeah, I'm really dehydrated.
And then, okay. And then what we did is and you felt it. We put you back and we activated a sense of homeostasis. That's the word I'm looking for. Doesn't it feel like that? A sense of balance.
It does. My heart's not jumping out of my chest anymore.
Yeah, that's an uncomfortable feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's because there were so many walls, but it will finish and it's okay. And what I want you to do when it does finish, if you want to cry, don't think of this crying as, don't try to restrain it. It's not going to go. It's basically a washing out. But, and in your case, don't have zero thoughts with the crying. It's just an expellation. And if it's, because if it doesn't come out with tears, you can let it come out with breathing. And if it doesn't come out with breathing, then it'll come out with muscle pains. And I know that's not what you want.
Right.
You already have enough. Thank you very much.
I do.
And we can work on that too, much, much later. So in this particular case, we started the root, we focused upon the root of everything that is going on in your life. That particular moment and those moments in time changed the course of your life.
Yeah.
So now we're going to make you be able to, when you get your core back, then you're able to go back and make corrections all the way through. And then you'll know that the perfect job will arrive for you. Because in this particular position, there is way too much diminishment. They do a lot of diminishing. And I don't mean diminishing as in holding you down, but it's a lack of letting you expand to who you really are and what you can really do. Do you understand?
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not able to fully, and that's what we mean by diminishing. Okay. So this is actually a really great thing to show that it's possible to do this work and then pause it. And
Yeah.
and so I'd like you to say what's different from before we started the work, during the work, and now. Can you give me kind of a explanation of what's different?
Well, I didn't really have any idea what we were going to do, so I didn't really have any expectations. So I was just feeling me, and then we started talking about that, and then I got the really tightness in my stomach in that area you were talking about from, my esophagus, and it's like hard to swallow, and then the tightness in my chest, um, and that comes up whenever I feel like I'm in that situation where I might be judged. and then that just I don't know, that it just slowly went away, which never happens. It takes forever to go away once it's there.
Well, we're going to make it go away forever.
Yay.
Now, it may take a second session because you have assigned that particular physical or physicality to a number of different situations, but it's still the same dragon every time. So hopefully if we let that dragon go all the time, forever, with compassion.
Yeah.
And feel free, I'm going to see if I can send you an audio recording of this. Feel free to play it again. Okay?
Okay, cool.
All right.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate your being vulnerable and sharing, especially like you didn't know I was going to go there.
No.
Yep. Well, the guides always hit the juiciest target.
And that's good. I'm ready.
Yeah, you are. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.